cost-benefit analysis. All right? And a cost-benefit analysis basically says that there are things that I gain by doing this behavior, and then there are things that I lose by doing this behavior. Right? So we typically do things because we feel like they do what to us? They make us better. They benefit us. Right? Are there some costs that I could be, or are there some opportunities that I could be missing by sitting with and hanging with the same people all the time? Yes? What might some of those be? What might be the opportunities that I could be missing? Meeting new people. What's that?
Not meeting great concessions.
Not meeting great concessions people. What else?
Missing out on other perspectives.
Missing out on other perspectives. What's it? One more? What was that? He said diversity. Can you tell me why it is inappropriate in Minnesota to marry your sister? What's that?
There are no lifeguards in the team.
There are no lifeguards in the gene pool. Right? Not only...
My sister's a lifeguard.
But she's not your wife, is she? Oh, okay, good. I was like, you're from Kentucky, huh? No, I'm just teasing. I'm sorry, anybody from Kentucky, I'm just joking. Mostly. But we don't do that because we need the mixture in the gene pool. Have you ever seen like English people? Yeah, they're really weird looking because they're all related. No, I'm just teasing. Mostly. All right. So what I'd like for you to do is I want you to find a new table that is not consisting of all of the folks in your group. So I want to give you about 30 seconds to make that happen. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times. Way to go. All right, so what I just gave you was a card. Now, I want to tell you that I do these trainings for companies, for large organizations, for colleges, and I usually have a lot more time than what we have here. So we're going to cut straight to the chase. All right? In front of you is a blue card. On the front says, what did I learn growing up? On the back says are a number of categories. Now, I have permanent markers for those folks who may need one. The pens work well, but the permanent markers work better. So if you like a permanent marker, let me know. What I'd like for you to do is to answer a question for me. What did you learn growing up? And there's a specific way that I want you to tell me about what you learned growing up, about the groups on the back of that card. If you've had a positive experience, can I use this card just for a second? So, if you had a positive experience with any of the groups across the top, be it African Americans, European Americans, Latina Americans, Asian Americans, disabled Americans, and Native Americans, if you've had a positive experience, I want you, or someone taught you something positive, I want you to put a plus in the box. If you've had a negative experience, or if someone tried to teach you something negative about them, I want you to put a negative. If you've learned nothing, or never had a conversation about that group of people, I want you to put a 0. All right? And so what I want you to tell me is, what did your parents and family teach you about each of those categories going across to the right? What did your friends say or try to teach you about those different categories across the top as you go to the right? What did you learn in the school and workplace about those individuals? What did TV and movies say about those individuals? And from personal experience, what did you learn about those individuals? All right? So pluses, minuses, or zeros. You can have pluses and minuses in the same area. All right? So this isn't necessarily how you feel or what you think, but what did the people around you try to teach you about those groups? All right? Except for the last one, which is your personal experience. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to do that. Anyone else need a marker? Just hold, if you have questions about the card, just hold off on your questions. Just answer them as best you can. Hold off on your questions. Your card.
That was my slash. Very important.
All right, 1 minute, 1 minute. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to get into groups of 4. Get into groups of 4, and I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, 3 minutes actually, to talk about what you put on your card or where you have zeros. Feel free to use any of this this space up here. I know some of the chairs are still damp. I'll give you about 3 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back and have a conversation. All right? So I want you to find a group of 4. Find some space out here to have conversations. In 3 minutes, I'll call us all back, and then we'll talk about the card. All right? Any questions? You have 3 minutes, and I'll see you back in 3 minutes.
Diversity, where's someone concession? Oh, your concession. Guest service. You find someone. Guest service first. Well, we had to diversify. We had too many lesbians. We had to leave. We had to leave. What do we do? What? Catherine, what are you doing? Don't put negatives for parents and family. Your family, what is this?
We'll talk about that One more minute. All right, it looks like we're all back. So please grab a seat. So before we talk about what you talked about in your small groups, I'm really curious as to some of your mindset or what you thought when I asked you to either put pluses, minuses, or zeros. What came up for you as I asked you to be a part of that process? What were you thinking as you were putting pluses, minuses, or zeros? Somebody said diversity. Yes, ma'am.
I think it's kind of dependent on the situation for me. Like, a lot of my school experiences have been really positive, but then sometimes you watch on movies or you hear from your friends like negativity about certain races. So I felt like I had a lot of plus and minuses, just depending on what situation I was in.
Yeah. Anybody else have lots of pluses and minuses in the same areas? Yeah. Yeah. What were some other things that you noticed that when you filled out the card? Was anybody embarrassed or excited about what they learned or didn't learn? Or yes, sir.
Mine is pretty racist.
Okay.
So I ended up putting a lot of minuses on the top, and I just like felt that. I was like, this is all my
Yeah. Does anybody else have someone in their family that you can say, you know, this isn't how I think, but this is a member of my family who thinks or feels this kind of way. Did anybody else have that? Yeah, I certainly do, right? My mom, and it's funny because with my mom, every problem on the planet, global warming, the economic downturn, it is all the gays' fault. Right? So for her, you know, it's like, oh, the gays this. And one day she was talking about the gays. And I said, Mom, are you gay? And she said, oh, how dare you ask me that? Of course I'm not gay. And I said, well, you think about gay people more than gay people think about you. Right? So all of us have somebody, at least most of us. I can't. You and I share something that we have someone in our family that's somewhat crazy. Right? I mean, that's an easy way to say it. I'm not trying to make fun of mental illness or anything like that, but that's just kind of how we talk on the streets, right? Because I'm from the hood, Mounds View. Yeah, don't mess with me, right? We're a third-ring suburb. Huh? All right. Anyway, so anything else that you notice is about yourself as you're filling out the card? You said you're a lot older than these people here? Yeah. I'm not. I'm still young-ish. Right? So, but what is that? What relationship does that have to the conversation?
When I was in school, that was the dawn of diversity, uniqueness, awareness training. And it was interesting to see it is interesting to me to see how that kind of thing has changed over the years. And I also came up during the Cold War. The bad people were Russians.
That's right. They were always in a hurry. Yeah, so the bad people were the Russians.
Right.
Right?
There's no Russians Cadbury here.
There are no. Yeah, and that's a good point. Did I put every group on the card that I could, possibly?
Hungarians were missed.
No. So I did not put Hungarians on there, or Irish, or other folks. However, the card only has so much surface space, and so I could only put so much. But I think you can get the lesson. So now I'm curious about what were some of your conversations in your groups about this particular card? What kinds of things did you talk about? What was that, sir?
It's hard to write on.
It was hard to write on. Okay.
Deep conversations.
So tell me about the deep conversations that you had. Did you have any? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you talked about how diversity shows up on the campuses and how it's different. And what campuses are you guys coming from?
Mankato.
Mankato, woo woo. North Dakota State, woo woo. Bethel.
We're a little biased towards Native Americans, taking away our mascot.
Well, let's talk about that.
Well, kind of both, because they teach us about all their courageous, when they were before all sporting events, they honor the Native Americans, but yet the Native Americans try to take it away. So it's kind of cool.
And I think that's interesting because I don't know about you. Has anyone ever gone to a funeral? Please raise your hand if you've gone to a funeral. Has anybody at a funeral ever got up and said, "That dude sucked. He was a horrible dad. It was just bad." Has anybody ever experienced that at a funeral? No. What do they say about dead people at the funeral? They say all the good stuff. Now, you know some of these people who have died, and you know they were not as good as they talk about at the funeral, right? So what we do to dead people is that we say, great, let's honor the dead